It's a cool ass cat. That cat's drippy. Every time I saw mocks vegans in his audience, I put another hour into making vegan memes. Welcome to AzanU. Oh no. What? God, vegans. Oh God, fucking vegans, dude. I am off left as fuck when it comes to like veganism and when it comes to dealing with shit like this instead of whatever kind of idiotic it's not off left, off left, authoritarian left dream world that people live in where they think that like individuals will engage in consumer side activism. Advocating for consumer side. Dude, this editing is really good. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you spend it on like silly shit like this? Make it over like, I don't know, a rant where I fucking pop off. God, vegans, you are the worst. You are literally the worst. Oh, he's probably gonna make a video about this too now. Like, you can make like an actual Prager you type video off of like a good ass fucking rant I have where I just pop off. Instead, he's like, no, I'm gonna do it on some vegan rant that he made. Activism with a horrible comparison. Voting is still collectivized. Voting is still a form of collective action. Okay?
Whereas veganism is just a massive group of people taking individual actions in unison.
You do it in the same day. You do it in the same structure, in the same process. Making a comparison to consumer side activism that's completely disorganized with this man really unironically and uncritically is trying to make it seem like veganism is the same as voting. Why don't you go vote vegan then, bitch? Cory Booker 2020. Perfect. I have many friends. I can't believe how good the editing is. Oh God, you are the worst. Vegans are the most annoying. Nearly zero consequences for not fucking engaging in consumer side activism is so silly. But of course, our vegan debate lord in the chat would make an idiotic comparison like that. I would much rather restrict meat production from a centralized authority rather than rely on people learning about veganism on their own.
Vegans famously do not want the government to restrict meat production.
I don't think that veganism should be banned, idiot. Like, no, you can inform people all you want. I don't even have a problem with informing people or vegans. I have a problem with vegans making idiotic comparisons where they act like animals, where they act like they're the same species, like where they act like they're not species.
Since they would no longer be superior.
Some of you guys are extremely cringe, and because you believe that you are morally correct, if you're not going to try going vegan, could you at least stop bashing it to your 20K audience? This is what I mean when I said y'all are extremely cringe.
Advocating publicly for ideologies you believe in is very cringe. Vocal vegans in chat should be silent and focus on individual action. Watching your favorite left.
It's not collective action. Your advocacy is understandable as long as it's literally not comparing fucking pigs to humans. Anytime there's like systemic racism being uttered in the chat, a vegan has to chime in and be like, what about cow genocide?
This voice relentlessly mock animal rights may be frustrating, but speaking up is uncivil.
This entire argument started because someone said immigrant workers that work in fucking farms, in like dairy farms, are working in an unethical field and that they don't care about those fucking undocumented immigrants as we were watching a video about them getting yeeted out of the country. I'm sorry. Okay? I give infinitely more fucks about the undocumented immigrants than I do about the fucking cow that they're milking. All right? You say stuff like, what's happening to animals right now is exactly like slavery. Actually, it's worse than slavery. When you say shit like that, at a time when like systemic racism is still destroying like actual human beings, that is cringe. Yeah, good luck. Good luck getting your message across.
There is no overlap between people who care about systemic racism and people who care about systemic animal cruelty. People are only allowed to care about one thing, so choose that one thing carefully.
No! people aren't only allowed to care about one thing. No. But you're literally, the argument you make is like, the fucking Holocaust is happening, and you are over there, okay? Like a Volkish German going, well, what about the Holocaust that's happening to the pigs in the farms? Why? Why? Why aren't we thinking about the Holocaust? Oh, this is very unacceptable. That's what you sound like when we're having a conversation about fucking human beings. This bit where you say vegans are right so you don't have to defend your position is so insufferable. I mean, I literally tell you. You guys are saying getting stunlocked by a meme, except this is what I do. I do yell at PragerU videos all the time. So it's okay when I yell at a PragerU video, but it's not okay when I yell at an AzanU video. I'm hypocritical and evil. If you truly believe that, like, no leeway should be given and speciesism is evil across the board, then I am definitely evil because my hedonistic degeneracy overtakes my interest in doing what's morally correct. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get DMCA'd. God damn it. That's the best take I've heard. That is actually the best take I've heard. That's it. I haven't heard a better take. Just like a fucking lion. That's so good. Exactly. It's like, oh my God, that's so good. Oh, I'm using that forever. Vegans are the all lives matter, folks, in this circumstance. Oh, all lives matter? Guess what, bitch? What about animal lives? Literally all fucking animal lives matter. Oh, I'm stealing that. Oh, that's exactly what you fucking sound like. That's exactly what you sound like. Oh, sorry, sweaty. We can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Sorry, Black Lives Matter protesters on the streets saying we should end police brutality and enforce accountability. Actually, sweaty, all lives matter, okay? And animal lives are a part of all lives. Okay, so it's a shit take though. Okay, I'll take it back. I take it back though. The reason why that's fucked up is because a lot of vegans only sound like fucking cringe lords when actually they are 1000% on board with all of the other activism, with notable exceptions, but they don't make the rule. Especially vegans in my community are vegans who obviously fucking care about Black Lives Matter. They're obviously vegans who care about fucking immigrant lives and shit like that. Of course they are. Whereas all lives matter is a reactionary take that is created for an explicit purpose, which is to move the conversation away from Black Lives Matter. So it's not exactly a one-to-one comparison, unless you want to be really just disingenuous and uncharitable and just shit on vegans, which I do a lot for the memes, but ultimately they are still morally correct. Not enough though. You just lost the herbivores left. Hasan, in the future, people will be vegan and you will be looked fondly on the history books. And radical leftist vegans will tear down your statues. I don't give a fuck. Fuck my statues. Look at the edgelord meat eaters in chat. Vegans mauling etc. sounds infinitely more chud like their groupthink memes to try to ignore the fact that they want to eat meat without thinking about where it comes from or where the corpse they support. Well, the corpse they support is not exactly a great take there. Again, veganism, for some weird reason, ultimately always goes back to like individual consumer habits. Like you do not consume ethically, okay, vegans? You don't. But you think your fucking soybeans are being produced in an ethical capacity? No, they're not. Of course not. Don't be fucking stupid. Don't be idiotic. Like, that's an idiotic take. To species that are lower on the fucking food chain, the same consideration should be extended to different kinds of species. Yes. Why people are not oppressed, animals are. How is it comparable? Okay. First of all, white people are oppressed. just not by virtue of being white. So that's not only a fucking idiotic take because you're making a comparison to humans and animals, but it's also idiotic because you make it seem like white people are not oppressed when they certainly are. Like, what are you doing in this community if you don't think white people are oppressed? Everyone is oppressed. Just not because they're white. Okay? Secondly, of course animals are oppressed. It's just that I don't think animals, like non-human animals, are of the same level of worth as human animals are. I think humans, by virtue of being human and nothing else, have hold on to this intrinsic value. I believe that they have this value and therefore are elevated on the food chain for me. Okay? And you do too. If you have an animal, if you house an animal, you also understand this dynamic. If you advocate to genocide cats, which some vegans do, honest ones do, because cats do disrupt the ecosystem and destroy entire bird populations, then you also understand that speciesism is a very real thing that vegans fucking believe in. No vegans do that. Vegans don't have pets. Vegans are petless. So while it's not a fucking absolutist argument, and I totally understand that, like, it's about minimizing your own by taking actions as an individual, minimizing the cruelty, not completely eliminating it, but minimizing it as best as possible, which is correct and right and good, and I agree. I think that when you make an argument where you try to come at it from the point of view of like making comparisons to humanity and human beings, you lose sight of your same speciesism that you exhibit on a daily basis. That's just the way I feel about it. Human exceptionalism? Yeah, of course. Of course. Vegans exhibit human exceptionalism as well. Why do you think a life is worth more if it's a human intrinsically? You don't explain your reasoning at all. This is just say this is what I believe. It's just what I believe. I think by virtue of being a human being, our species is worth more than the life of another animal. Now, there are qualifiers to that. There are situations where that could change. Right? I'm not going to try to like get into an argument about like, would you save the worst human being over the best dog that you love? You know what I mean? Like a worse human being that's killed multiple people. These sorts of arguments are idiotic. Just like on the other side, the argument that I could stunlock you with is, if you're stranded on a fucking island and you have a human and a dog, do you eat the human first or do you eat the dog first? Of course you eat the dog first. And most honest vegans would admit that, unless they would look like a fucking psycho. Vegans recognize this? No, I think a lot of vegans do. And I recognize the counters to my carnivorous lifestyle. People equals lions. People equals obligate carnivores. Big cats don't have morals. People should not have morals. That's what I'm saying.
Why? Why, you fucking brain-dead idiot? You fucking idiot! You stupid idiot! Shut up! so dumb. It makes my brain leak out of my ears a little bit when I just like try to comprehend how fucking stupid.
Special guest Jordan Peterson joins us next week on AzanU, from the hospital to promote his carnivore diet.
Vegans are right. Please stop harassing me. Vegans, you're right. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Okay? You're right. You're brave. You're courageous. You guys make sacrifices that I could not imagine making. Okay?
This is
Got
a
it.
deranged
Okay? Are you happy?
pervert.
No.
Oh,
You know,
you're
I
such
think
a
you should watch
big
Earthling Ed's videos to
man,
educate
Hasan.
yourself about veganism. You're ignorant as fuck.
Hey Hasan, you would probably enjoy Earthling Ed's videos, they're similar style to Vox and Johnny Harris. I put together a playlist in the comments, they're fine to watch on stream or just on your own. His off-the-cuff debate with an InfoWars reporter is a fun watch too. And you can't watch it on stream, but Dominion is a great documentary that explains standard factory farming practices. It's up for free on YouTube. I think
I've also watched, what was the one that, like, turned so many of you fucking vegans in my chat into vegans? What's the one that, what was, like, the big documentary of our generation? Forks Over Knives? Food Inc. Yeah, it was Food Inc. Food Inc. That was the one. No. It was fucking Food Inc., dude. Yeah, that was the one that, like, turned so many people fucking vegan and shit. Super Size Me? No, Super Size Me was good. It was just anti-McDonald's. It wasn't... Super Size Me wasn't fucking pro-vegan, was it? Maybe I didn't even... Yeah, maybe I don't remember. Leftist controlling diets, as usual. You just lost the radical plant vote.
it's fine to say all the vegan frogs in chat would appreciate it, even if you keep arguing against us after.
Would you consider cutting out red meat from your diet because of its high methane emissions? I don't eat any red meat. Hello? Like, you see me eat every day. I eat the same meal every day. Like, I very rarely ever eat red meat. And I don't think that's enough. I think it's a bullshit fucking cop-out anyway. Oh, I don't eat red meat. Like, no, I've already, like, minimized my like meat consumption, which is not even true actually. I've just limited it to just chicken. That's bullshit. Oh, like as though if I were to tell you, well, I cut out red meat, okay? If I were to tell you I cut out red meat and then you fucking turn around and you were like, okay, I'm happy with that. Like, that's not a win. Only man is arrogant enough to stand atop a grain of sand drifting through the void of infinity and proclaim himself the center of all things. Wait, I don't even fucking believe that. Oh god. Nico Avocado was vegan? Yeah, I know. Are you still doing intermittent fasting? Yes. Only meat I eat is good pussy that piss and sound like frying chicken, Puggo. Birds don't count. They are just dinosaurs. True! Ultimately, what I believe in is vegan organizing. Not direct action, but vegan organizing as far as educating people and trying to get as many people to turn vegan as possible is ultimately a good thing. Creating educational materials is ultimately a good thing. And petitioning the government and forcing the government's hand through your organizing to create, by using environmentalist arguments, which is the truth, and you should use those arguments, to create a more ethical meat production and inevitably maybe even focus on research and development so you can make alternatives to meat that taste just as delicious and look like meat, okay? At least in the transition. And finally, banning meat production altogether should be your goal. I'm a fucking meat eater, so you don't have to listen to me. What the fuck do I know? I'm selfish. I'm hedonistic. I eat meat. I don't give a fuck. But if your goal is making comparisons to, I mean, I don't know. If your goal is like taking direct action, good on you. I'm not going to like shit on you that much. But if you're coming in here and making silly comparisons overall and derailing conversations when we're talking about things that impact human beings, you're doing yourself a disservice. Problem is that humans have victimized animals to such a degree that they are not even considered victims. They are not even considered at all. They are nothing. They don't count. They don't matter. They are commodities like TV sets and cell phones. Yeah, absolutely. We've actually turned animals into inanimate objects, sandwiches and shoes. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Hassan, just like we're on top of the food chain because we're intelligent, we can choose to be morally correct instead and submit ourselves to the other animals. We don't have to be the dominating species on this earth. If you're not willing to do this, you're not vegan. What? We don't have to be dominating species on this earth. Well, I certainly want to continue being the dominating species on this earth. I love dominating nature. Are you kidding me? That's an insane take. The fuck? I literally come over watching power lines get built on top of mountains. One of the most awesome things. You fucking kidding me, dude? Oh my god, infrastructure. Okay, don't make the like cringe fucking carnivore arguments, dude. Can eat plants? They're living beings. Like, you have a platform and lead by example and walk the walk about saving the world and taking climate change seriously. How else will we finish DS3 if we don't go vegan? Vegans explain
We're
this.
ready to cut into this thing. Brent, would you like to have the honors?
Ben?
What is this?
I would.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
It worked.
That worked. That was the most expensive experiment that paid off that we've ever done. Congratulations.
Thank God. The short rib is all mid-well. We wanted that to cook all the way through so that all the fat would actually render. And we wanted the ribeye to stay medium rare. I think it looks fucking awesome.
Let's cut a slice.
This is super exciting because at a steakhouse, you get the prime rib. The prime rib is the whole rib loin, which is usually just this cut. This is so much more. It actually shows the whole animal, so I'm so excited to eat it.
Which do you want first? You want the...
That's disgusting. This is supposed to look good. Yeah, it looks great. I can taste it from here. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
You usually have braised short rib, which is tender and juicy and falls apart, but tastes like red wine and rosemary. This actually tastes like roast beef, but well done roast beef that's super duper fatty. It's amazing. We should try the ribeye now?
Yep, let's do that. That's a perfect prime rib. That's a really perfect prime rib.
And then just simple, perfect prime rib.
What do you want from us? We just made it perfect.
This is amazing. This is an amazing experience.
Turns out it was a good idea.
You can make a beef porchetta.
Beefetta?
You just need a better name for it.
Beefetta? Thank God it's not just the two of us eating this. We invited a bunch of friends. They're gonna start helping us.
Let's do some damage.
Aww, C-Mac! Yikes, dude. Okay, we're done with all of this. We're done with everything. We're done with okay, buddy. I might be done with the stream. This was a very well done video, by the way, Austin Ox. Good job. I wish you would use your powers for good. And not just shit posting about veganism.